the device that so many people have been waiting for. Now, a lot of you have been reaching out, and people in my personal life have been reaching about this specific project, the Zinwa Q25 project. Now, if you see this project, you might say, hey, that device looks a bit familiar. Well, you would be right. This is the BlackBerry Classic, especially if you're just looking at the hardware itself. But the Zinwa Q25 project has decided to completely mod the original BlackBerry Classic device. Now, for those of you who might not be familiar with the BlackBerry Classic or Q20, this device came out in 2014. It's making me feel a bit old. I remember when this phone was launched, it was a big deal. At the time, I was using the BlackBerry Q10 and I did not upgrade because my Q10 was working perfectly fine. Now, the BlackBerry Classic had, of course, the keyboard as well as dedicated keys for hanging up and calling and being able to navigate the screen with the trackpad. This device was a big hit. A lot of people loved it. I know for myself, there was some things I didn't like about this device. For example, you can't remove the battery. And with the modifications being made, you still won't be able to remove the battery. Now, with that being said, if you decided to use a BlackBerry Classic in 2025, you would find some roadblocks and some technological issues. If you're looking at the specs on paper, they aren't that impressive for 2025. The original BlackBerry Classic came with 2 GB of RAM, 16 GB of internal storage, as well as an expandable 256 GB microSD slot. Now, this was huge at the time, but in 2025, you'll find the memory a bit lacking and the 2 GB of RAM won't get you very far. If you're somebody who is dedicated to using BlackBerry 10, like myself, you'll find workarounds to use certain apps, but you will notice some limits to using certain apps as well. Now, regarding the camera specifications, the original BlackBerry Classic had an 8 megapixel rear camera and a 2 megapixel front-facing camera. The front-facing camera was terrible. I remember when selfies became a thing in 2012 or 2011, if I'm remembering correctly. And this device wasn't made for selfies. It was made for communication, making video calls, using Skype and things like that. So it really wasn't optimized for social media. It was targeting business professionals. So 2 megapixels wouldn't get you very far. But to be honest, the 8 megapixel rear-facing camera still looks pretty good today. It's not the best quality, but it's definitely better than some other dumb phones that I have from 2025. Now, one of the biggest problems with using the BlackBerry Classic in 2025 is the operating system. BlackBerry 10 went all the way up to 10.3.3. And you might say, well, what does that mean? Well, BlackBerry stopped supporting BlackBerry OS a long time ago, and there are no apps that you could possibly use today out of the box, of course, from BlackBerry World or any of the supported app stores. If you want to install apps, you'll have to do that on your own with APK files, and this is quite limiting, noting that most of the apps that you can use have to use an older version of Android, which is 4.1 if I remember correctly. So you're extremely limited on the apps you can use, and most notably is the bans for connectivity. If you're living in North America, chances are you can't use the BlackBerry Classic as your daily driver. If you're looking at making calls and text messages, you'll need 3G support still. But with this new project coming out, everything is changing. Zinwa Technologies is taking it in their hands, and they're changing all of the aspects that make using the BlackBerry Classic in 2025 not an issue anymore. So first things first, they're going to be changing the operating system. Now, I know a lot of you will be upset about this, especially the BlackBerry diehards, because BlackBerry is a privacy-focused company. But unfortunately, BlackBerry in the realm of mobile devices is no longer supported, so in order to use it in today's time, you will have to change the operating system, and Zinwa Technologies has chosen Android 14. So this means that you'll have access to all of the apps in the Google Play Store and you'll be able to use them accordingly. But keep in mind the aspect ratio for this particular device. Now this is a 3.5-inch display with 720 by 720 and 300 ppi. This is quite a small screen and most apps aren't designed to fit on the screen, so you might have to make some modifications with the display zooming in, especially for those of you who might have accessibility issues like myself. Now, the device is getting a complete internals overhaul. This means that the motherboard will be changed and a new processor will be put in. The processor that they chose is the MediaTek Helio G99. They're also upgrading the memory, so instead of 2 GB of RAM, you'll be getting 12. This means that the device will be a lot more snappier for multitasking and switching from apps rather quickly and running apps that might take up a bit more RAM. The internal storage is also getting bumped up to 256 gigabytes, as well as having an external memory card supported up to 512 gigabytes. This means that you can store a lot of stuff, and as somebody who likes to store their personal music library, I really appreciate this. So another good news is that this device will be supported with 4G. You'll be able to make calls and texts and use data in 4G capability bands. Also check the band availability on their website if you have more questions and compare it to your carrier's supported bands. So another big upgrade is the camera. So they're switching from 2 megapixels up to 8. So this will make for better front-facing calling and of course content creation if you're looking to take photos and share selfies regularly with people that aren't so blurry. The rear-facing camera is also getting a major upgrade. It's going, of course, from 8 megapixels up into 50 megapixels. Now, originally, the BlackBerry Classic battery was 2,515 milliamp hours. Zinwa Technologies is upgrading the battery a bit to 3,000 milliamp hours, so you should get more battery for your usage. Of course, this will depend on how you use your device. Are you using a lot of Bluetooth, location, running tons of apps at the same time? So this will again depend on usage, but there is good news. They're upgrading the charging port from micro USB to Type-C with fast charging. So if you're a heavy power user, you will be able to quickly charge your device, especially compared to the older charging port. Now, one of the most important is the keyboard. Will it stay the same? And the answer is yes. But they have some features planned and they will continue upgrading that keyboard. Now, recently on their Discord, they have been publishing a lot of demos of the options they have upgraded to show how they're performing. So they have been quite transparent and quite open with how the project is progressing. I think it is also a telltale sign when the big tech medias have been talking about this specific project, and more people in my personal circles have been bringing it up. I know for myself, I didn't back this project in the beginning because I wanted to see how it progressed and how those updates were going through. Once I saw on their Discord and had confirmation of certain updates, especially the accessibility updates, I decided to back this project last month. Now, when it comes to pricing, some people may see this as a steep price. Now, the price is $450 for the device with all of the modifications already made for you. If you're somebody who has a BlackBerry Classic on hand and would like to do those updates yourself, you can purchase the set with all of the components as well as instructions for $350. Some people may see this as steep, but you got to consider that this company has already put in the work for you. They've already found the components that work and are able to put them all together to have a device that is usable in 2025. What do you think about these modifications being made to the BlackBerry Classic? I know for myself, I'm really excited about using and testing this device. I think maybe it could be the perfect compromise of somebody who is a hardcore BlackBerry fan, but also wants that modern usability that most devices provide for us in 2025. I would like to give a big shout out and thank you to my channel supporters, of course, and thank all of you for watching this video, and see you soon.